त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पदानश्चिन्वन्नोतिभिस्सीदसादनम् ॐ श्रीमहागणपतये नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ता वन्दे श्रीगुरुपरम्पराम्। ओम श्री शंकराचार्य स्वामिने नमः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।
नमस्ते महोदय। भानुरेखा भगिनी।
नमस्ते महोदय।
नमस्ते।
त्रैविद्या मां सोमपापूतपापा यज्ञैरिष्ट्वा स्वर्गतिं प्रार्थयन्ते ते पुण्यमासाद्य सुरेन्द्रलोकम् अश्नन्ति दिव्यान् दिवि देवभोगान्।
वेरी गुड।
राजेश्वरी शिवशंकर भगिनी। राजेश्वरी शिवशंकर भगिनी।
Yes, madam. ते तं भुक्त्वा स्वर्गलोकौ विशालं क्षीणे पुण्ये मर्त्यलोकौ विशन्ति ये तन्त्रयी धर्ममनुप्रपन्नाः गतागतं कामकामा लभन्ते।
Last two lines.
ये वन्त्रयी धर्ममनुप्रपन्नाः गतागतं कामकामा लभन्ते।
राजलक्ष्मी भगिनी।
नमस्ते महोदय।
नमस्ते।
अनन्याश्चिन्तयन्तो मां ये जनाः पर्युपासते तेषां नित्याभियुक्तानां योगक्षेमं वहाम्यहम्।
गुड।
उषा श्रीनिवासन भगिनी।
नमस्ते महोदय।
नमस्ते।
येऽप्यन्य देवता भक्त सॉरी सर आई एम नॉट गेटिंग द ट्यून। येऽप्यन्य देवता भक्ताः यजन्ते श्रद्धयान्विताः तेऽपि मामेव कौन्तेय यज्यन्त विधिपूर्वकम्।
We have taken the meter of Srishtup in this. It should be Yepyanya Devata Bhaktaha Yajante Shaddayan Vitaha. That is the kind of meter you should take. Can you repeat again?
Sorry, I am not able to practice any. Epyanya devata bhaktaha yajante shraddhayanvitaha tepi mameva kaunteya yajyantha vidhi purvakam. Sorry.
The tune you have taken this kind of a tune. That is Tetam Bhuktva Svargalokam Vishalam. You took that tune. You should take Yepyanya Devata Bhaktaha Yajante Shaddayanvitaha, like that.
Okay. Yepyanya devata bhaktaha yajante shraddhayanvitaha tepi mameva kaunteya yajantya vidhi purvakam. Thank you, sir.
शांति बद्री भगिनी। शांति बद्री भगिनी। के ललिता भगिनी।
अहं हि सर्वयज्ञानां भोक्ता च प्रभुरेव च न तु मामभिजानन्ति तत्त्वेनातश्च वन्ति ते।
Good. So we go to the new Shloka for today.
कृष्ण पावनी भगिनी।
यान्ति देवव्रता देवान्
यान्ति देवव्रता देवान् यान्ति देवव्रता देवान्
पितॄन् यान्ति पितृव्रताः
पितॄन् यान्ति पितृव्रताः पितॄन् यान्ति पितृव्रताः
यान्ति देवव्रता देवान् पितॄन् यान्ति पितृव्रताः
यान्ति देवव्रता देवान् पितॄन् यान्ति पितृव्रताः यान्ति देवव्रता देवान् पितॄन् यान्ति पितृव्रताः.
Good. Next.
श्रीलक्ष्मी भगिनी
भूतानि
नमस्ते
यान्ति
महोदय।
भूतेज्याः
भूतानि यान्ति भूतेज्याः भूतानि यान्ति भूतेज्याः
यान्ति मद्याजिनोऽपि माम्
यान्ति मद्याजिनोऽपि माम् यान्ति मद्याजिनोऽपि माम्
भूतानि यान्ति भूतेज्याः यान्ति मद्याजिनोऽपि माम्
भूतानि यान्ति भूतेज्याः यान्ति मद्याजिनोऽपि माम् भूतानि यान्ति भूतेज्याः यान्ति मद्याजिनोऽपि माम्.
Good. Next.
शीला शिंदे भगिनी
Yes, sir.
यान्ति देवव्रता देवान् पितॄन् यान्ति पितृव्रताः
Yanti devau vrata devan pitrunyanti pitruvrataha. Yanti devau vrata devan pitrunyanti pitruvrataha.
देवौ देवव्रता.
Ade yanti devau vrata.
It's not devovrata. Devavrata.
Okay. Yanti devavrata devan pitrunyanti pitruvrataha. Yanti devavrata devan pitrunyanti pitruvrataha.
Next.
वीणा फानिश्री भगिनी
नमस्ते महोदय।
भूतानि यान्ति भूतेज्याः यान्ति मद्याजिनोऽपि माम्
भूतानि यान्ति भूतेज्याः यान्ति मद्याजिनोऽपि माम् भूतानि यान्ति भूतेज्याः यान्ति मद्याजिनोऽपि माम्.
Next.
विजयलक्ष्मी आर भगिनी
First line 2 times.
नमस्ते महोदय।
Namaste.
यान्ति देवव्रता देवान् पितॄन् यान्ति पितृव्रताः यान्ति देवव्रता देवान् पितॄन् यान्ति पितृव्रताः.
Good. Next.
शरद चवन महोदय
Second line 2 times.
भूतानि यान्ति भूतेज्याः यान्ति मद्याजिनोऽपि माम् भूतानि यान्ति भूतेज्याः यान्ति मद्याजिनोऽपि माम्.
Okay. Next.
गुरुमूर्ति महोदय
नमो नमः.
Yes, sir. Both the entire shloka once.
यान्ति देवव्रता देवान् यान्ति पितृव्रताः तानि यान्ति तेज्याः यान्ति मद्याजिनोऽपि माम्.
Good. Next.
काश्मीरा भगिनी
Full shloka.
Yes, namaste, Madhya. Yes,
Namaste.
sir. Yanti devavrata devan pitrun yanti pritvrataha भूतानि यान्ति भूतेज्याः यान्ति मद्याजिनोऽपि माम्
Next.
Lakshmi Bini
धन्यवाद
यान्ति देवव्रता देवान् पितॄन् यान्ति पितृव्रताः भूतानि यान्ति भूतेज्याः यान्ति मद्याजिनोऽपि माम्
Good. Next.
Shanti Badri Bhagini.
Namaste, sir.
Namaste.
2 lines, sir. 1, sir.
Full shloka. Once.
Yanti devavrata devan pitrun yanti pitruvrataha bhutani yanti bhudechyaha yanti matyajinopi mam.
Good. Next.
Anupama Bhatt Bhagini.
Full shloka.
यान्ति देवव्रता देवान् पितॄन् यान्ति पितृव्रताः भूतानि यान्ति भूतेज्यः यान्ति मद्याजिनोऽपि माम्.
Good. Next.
Sri Lakshmi Bhagini.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Both
Yeah,
lines
full-
once.
Yeah, sure.
यान्ति देवव्रता देवान् पितॄन् यान्ति पितृव्रताः भूतानि यान्ति भूतेज्याः यान्ति मद्याजिनोऽपि माम्.
Okay. So in the previous 2 slokas, Bhagavan was talking about whichever ye api anya devata bhaktaha yajante shraddhayanvitaha, even if they are worshipping some other god in some other names, shraddhaya anvitaha, with the lot of endowed with shraddha, te api, even those people, mamyeva, only me, yajanti vidhi avidhi purvakam, they only worship me, but only they are ignorant that they are worshipping me. So he says that ultimately, any kind of worship that you do, any type of God you think and then worship, with Shraddha, Shraddhaya Anvita, endowed with Shraddha, you are worshipping me only. But only thing is that they are not able to connect to the absolute reality, and they feel that this law, God, whatever they think is the God, and then they pray the God. Ultimately, they are only worshipping me. Then, aham hi sarva yajnana bhukta cha prabhurevacha. All the rituals that you do, okay, I am the recipient of that. Bhukta means I am the consumer, but you can say in this case, I am the one who is the recipient of all the rites and rituals that you do. And you may do a sankalpa for Hanuma or Ganesha or Lakshmi, but he says that for everything that you do, I am the Lord. Prabhu, aham hi sarva yajnanam bhukta, aham hi sarva yajnanam prabhu. I am the one who is the Lord. Maybe we may be thinking it is going to Indra or Ganesha or Varuna or Anjaneya, but ultimately I am the one. Natu mam abhijananti tatvena tashyanti te. So those people who are not able to understand my reality, they fall back. The thing is that they come up to certain levels of realization, but they are not able to realize themselves fully. And then they again fall back. Fall back in the sense they get back into the samsara of birth and death. They get into that cycle. They get into the karma, cycle of karma, law of karma, and they keep getting life and death. That continues. Then he further continues, based on what you worship, you get that. That is what he is now telling in this sloka. Yanti deva vrata devan. Deva vrata devan yanti. Those people who worship God, deva vrata. What is though ultimately what they will do? Suppose somebody is worshipping some kind of Bhagavan continuously in life, only that particular Bhagavan, then they read that particular Bhagavan, he says that Deva Vrata Devan Yanti. So there are gods, Devi gods. So they go to Devaloka. They are not going to be the one who is realized soul, but they go to Devaloka. Deva Vrata Devan Yanti. Then there are other people, Pitru Vrataha Pitrun Yanti. There are people who worship their Pitrus, the forefathers, So those people, they get into the Pitruloka. So based on the way they pray, they get that. If you look at that way, the Devavrata people are the ones who are really in the striving to know more and more, and then they are the people who go even up to Brahma Loka. No, we are looking at some of the people who were able to do a very high level of yoga. Only thing is that they were not in a position to realize themselves. They go to much higher standards. Other people who are generally very disciplined, very much devoted, they are the dharmic people. At the end of the day, like all the people who depart, they go to a loka which is better than the earth, and that loka is called a Pitru Loka. So they go and join the Pitrus, and they will be able to be Pitru Loka. There's another group called Bhutani Yanti Bhutechyaha. Bhutechyaha Yanti. Bhutani Yanti Bhutechyaha. Bhutechyaha are those people who are attracted towards black magic. You know, there are a lot of people in Kerala, especially, you'll have people who do a lot of these black magics and mantra, tantra, etc. Those people who are committed to that kind of a thing, they will also only get into the kind of lower levels of evolution, and they will also be only be roaming around as lower level of spirits. So, depending upon your mental disposition, you will be able to only reach that level. Depending upon whether you are able to worship a higher level of God, you go to that level. If you are able to be only at a much lower level of doing karma, etc., and then taking care of your annual rituals for your parents, like everybody, the majority of the people, they go to Pitraloka. There are some people, black magicians, and all those kinds of people who are using those kinds of wrong things with a very poor intention, bad intention, playing with all those kinds of things. Whatever we are not aware of that, there are a lot of black magicians who will be able to manipulate the spirits, etc. They will again get into those kinds of world only. Whereas Mat Yajina, the people who are worshipping me, then where do they go? Mam Yanti. They will be able to get to me. So he says that depending upon what you are worshipping, you will be going to that particular level only. But if somebody is able to understand the principle of God, here when he says Mam, he does not talk himself to be Lord Bhagavan as Krishna or Lord Vishnu. He is talking about the absolute God, the only God. He says that those who are trying to seek and understand the reality of God, the knowledge about God that we are all trying to understand. Ananya Chintayanto Mam, the one who is not able to look at God as independent, different than him. Ananya Chintayanto Mam Yejana Parjupasate, Teja Nitya Abhyuktanam. You know, we saw that Shloka. So those people who are able to understand the principle of God or understand God with knowledge, and then they are worshipping that kind of endowed with that kind of attitude they worship, they will ultimately reach me. That means those people will become realized soul because they understand that they themselves are the Paramatma, are the Brahman. Sarvam Kalavidam Brahma, that's what they understand. Everything in the universe is Brahman. That's what is their understanding. And then they are also able to understand the knowledge about God. And then when they pray, they become one with the God Himself. That's so we have discussed about this in many shlokas earlier also, that they will be able to immerse or dissolve into the self, and then they will be totally devoted in their prayers. So that is what he is telling. Next.
Bhanureka Bhagini. Yes.
Patram pushpam palantoyam.
Patram pushpam phalantoyam. Patram pushpam phalantoyam.
You can try phalam. Instead of fa, you can use fa. Because fa is correct in Hindi, no doubt about it. In Sanskrit, it's only fa. Karma phala. Patram pushpam phalantoyam.
Patram pushpam phalantoyam. Patram pushpam phalantoyam.
Yo me bhaktya prayachati.
Yo me bhaktya prayachati. Yo me bhaktya prayachati.
Patram pushpam palantoyam. Yo me bhaktya prayachati.
Patram pushpam phalantoyam. Yo me bhaktya prayachati. Patram pushpam phalantoyam. यो मे भक्त्या प्रयच्छति
Next.
अनुपमा भट् भगिनी
तदहं भक्त्युपहृतम्
तदहं भक्त्युपहृतम् तदहं भक्त्युपहृतम्
अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः
अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः
तदहं भक्त्युपहृतम् अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः
तदहं भक्त्युपहृतम् अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः तदहं भक्त्युपहृतम् अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः
राजेश्वरी शिवशंकर भगिनी
पत्रं पुष्पं फलं तोयं यो मे भक्त्या प्रयच्छति
पत्रं पुष्पं फलं तोयं यो मे भक्त्या प्रयच्छति पत्रं पुष्पं फलं तोयं यो मे भक्त्या प्रयच्छति
नेक्स्ट
राजलक्ष्मी भगिनी
तदहं भक्त्युपहृतम् अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः
तदहं भक्त्युपहृतम् अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः तदहं भक्त्युपहृतम् अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः
Good. Next.
शरद चवन महोदय
First line 2 times.
Yes, sir. पत्रं पुष्पं फलं तोयं यो मे भक्त्या प्रयच्छति पत्रं पुष्पं फलं तोयं यो मे भक्त्या प्रयच्छति
Next.
कृष्ण पावनी भगिनी
Second line 2 times.
तदहं भक्त्युपहृतम् अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः तदहं भक्त्युपहृतम् अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः
Good. Next.
श्री लक्ष्मी भगिनी
The full shloka once.
Yes, sir. पत्रं पुष्पं फलं तोयं यो मे भक्त्या प्रयच्छति तदहं भक्त्युपहृतम् अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः
Good. Next.
विजयलक्ष्मी आर भगिनी
Full shloka.
पत्रं पुष्पं फलं तोयं यो मे भक्त्या प्रयच्छति तदहं भक्त्युपहृतम् अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः
Good. Next.
शीला शिंदे भगिनी
पत्रं पुष्पं फलं तोयं यो मे भक्त्या प्रयच्छति तदहं भक्त्युपहृतम् अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः
Good. Next.
वीणा फानिश्री भगिनी
पत्रं पुष्पं फलं तोयं यो मे भक्त्या प्रयच्छति तदहं भक्त्युपहृतम् अस्नामि प्रयतात्मनः
Good. Next.
गुरुमूर्ति महोदय
पत्रं पुष्पं फलं तोयं यो मे भक्त्या प्रयच्छति तदहं भक्त्युपहृतम् अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः
Bhakti upahridam. Bhakti upahridam.
तदहं भक्त्युपहृतम् अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः
Good. Next person.
लक्ष्मी बीवी भगिनी
पत्रं पुष्पं फलं तोयं यो मे भक्त्या प्रयच्छति तदहं भक्त्युपहृतम् अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः
One more
भक्त्यु
person.
Usha Srinivasan Bagini.
Yes, sir. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhaktyupahritam ashnami prayatatmanah.
Good. So this shloka talks about what you offer to Bhagavan is immaterial, but how you offer to Bhagavan is important. Okay. What Bhagavan says is that Patram pushpam palam toyam. Patram is any leaf you offer, or any simple flower you offer, or just give me some one small pal, any fruit you offer, or even if that is not possible, just give me one udurni of water. Patram pushpam palam toyam. If you look at the earlier ones that we started, no? Sargalogam Vishanti, Bhaktilogam Vishanti, all those things we saw, no? Where they were doing yajna, and then in the yajna they were putting so much of ghee. Ghee was very, very expensive, and then they had to arrange a very elaborate yajna of creating the yajna kunda, and then getting ghee, getting somapa, all those things, and then they use a very detailed ritual for doing yajna and offer to Bhagavan, which Bhagavan says, I am the one who is taking all these things. I am the Prabhu Revacha, all the yajnas, I am the person who is the receiver. Bhuktaham, Sarva Yajnana, Bhuktaham, Sarva Yajnana, Prabhuhaham. That's what he said. But Bhagavan says that he is indirectly criticizing. If you start looking at it, he is not, but what is the reason for the yajna that they do? Yajnas are done with a sankalpa, primarily sankalpa with some kinds of intent. The intent is that I want to have something in return. Okay, that is the kind of yajnas are done because somebody was doing a yajna for going to Swargalokam. Because he feels that going to Swargalokam, he has got to have enough amount of punya, but punya yajna is being done. But a person who is going to be a real devotee, for a devotee, what is there in him is emotionally is connected to Bhagavan. And the emotional devotee, Bhagavan is no different from him because Ananya Chintayanto Mam, he is no way different from him. So that he is the real sincere Bhakta, and Bhakta is emotionally connected with the Bhagavan, and he does not find Bhagavan is different from him, and he is emotionally merged into Bhagavan. That is the real level of devotee. And does that particular person require anything for his Yogakshema? He does not ask for anything for Yogakshema because he feels that Bhagavan is there to take care of his Yogakshema. So he has got no absolute desires that I am going to do this, you please do that to me. Nothing like that. So for those kinds of people, he says that even, not only these people, anybody with sincere bhakti, the devotion, with devotion, if somebody is just giving me a simple leaf, patram, one bilva leaf or one tulsi leaf, or pushpam, whatever pushpa you are able to get in your garden, just give me one flower. Just whatever fruits you have, just small 3 or 4 kismis bhi hota hai ghar mein. You just give some dried raisins you can give. Or even if you are not able to get all those things, you offer me a udurniya water. Anything that you give me, bhaktya prayachati, whoever gives me with absolute devotion and then they give it to me, tad, that aham, that I take, but bhakti upahrudam, the one that is given with so much of bhakti, I ashnami, I consume, I take. Prayatatmanaha, because he is a pure heart. Prayatatmanaha means the person who is putting effort, but in this case, he is the person who is a very, very pure-hearted person, who has got absolutely no desires. He has got pure love with me. His primarily expectation is primarily he wants to know me. He has understood me, but he really wants to know me fully, and he has got no other interest in other things. And bhaktya patram putvam palam toyam prayachati, to me. Yaha me prayachati, whoever gives it to me. Those things I agree and take. Happily I take it. And those people are very, very pure people, and I consume whatever they give. That is what Bhagavan says here. So if you look at this particular shloka, it's a very, very important shloka, and it has been used by many people whenever they give a discourse. Patram pampanantoyam yome bhaktya prayachate karaham bhaktyupahrudam ashnami prayatatmanah. So we sometimes we feel that we need a very elaborate things etc. to satisfy God. If you look at that way, worshipping God is not for God. We have to understand that worshipping is God only for Antakshakti. Whatever you are doing, God is not waiting for, because everything belongs to Him. Nothing belongs to us. Everything is His. Whether if you are going to give a mango, even if He is waiting for a mango from you from in the morning, and then they are going to give me mango. Mango tree is His. Mango in that tree is also His. It is only the love and affection that are showing by sincere devotion. That's what He is doing, and that's what He says is the highest level of bhakti and devotion. With that kind of devotion, even if you give me a patram or a pushpam or a palam or a drop of water, I will consume that. One of the best examples for this is Sudama and Lord Krishna. Both of them students of Sandipani Gurukula. And Sudama was a Brahmin and he was absolutely devoted. He had a lot of bhakti. But only thing is that he had 27 children and he was not having enough money to support his family also. So his wife was continuously pestering him that we are living in this kind of poor state of living we are having, and your good friend Krishna is the Raja. Why don't you go to his place and then why don't you get some go talk to him and get some help and come. This particular person did not want to go and take any kind of help from anybody based on friendship. He didn't want to get with Krishna, the good relationship. He didn't want to misuse it for the sake of his personal gains. So he was a bit reluctant to go, but finally, because his wife pestered, he said, okay, let me go and meet Lord Krishna. But in our Vedas and Shastras, whenever you go to meet a guru, or whenever you go to a temple or any kind of religious function, or whenever you go and meet a Raja, the ruler, you are supposed to carry some small gift with you. Something you should carry and hand it over to them as a mark of respect or mark of love. So Guru, Deva and Rajana, we are not empty hand. So he was wondering as to what he will take and what is that he can take to a person who is sitting in the palace as a Raja. So he was continuously thinking. He told his wife, I don't know what I can take to my friend. It's very difficult for me to give anything to him because he is a king and he is a very, very big shot. And his wife said, see, we have only this much. We have got 3 morsels of poha, the pounded rice, aval. So you please take this and hand it over to your friend. So with so much of humility and so much of shyness, he packed the thing in a small cloth bag and then he went all the way to meet Lord Krishna. Krishna came to know people, the body, the armed guards outside that Sudama has come. And Krishna immediately told him to immediately rush to the entrance of the first gate. And then he, being a Brahmin coming to his palace, first thing he did was he started doing Pada Puja for him, cleaning his legs, etc. And then brought him into the palace, made him sit right across to him, just sit next to him as though he's a very close friend, as he's a very close friend. And he asked him, what is that you got? He was just wriggling. He was very reluctant. He said, you should have got something for me. Then he saw the small bag, he pulls it out. And then he looked at that kind of poha there, and then had one mouthful of that. And second mouthful also he took. The third mouthful, Rukmani only prevented him from doing that because he felt that the entire world will become Sudama's property in case he takes a third one. Then Sudama did not know. He was very happy. They were all talking. Then he had a wonderful hospitality. He stayed over there. He enjoyed the luxuries of the palace, had wonderful food with Krishna, everything. Then when he got back to his house, he came and then the entire village had turned into a golden city. And then he found his wife and children coming there. They were all adorned with the best of dresses and best of jewelry, etc. So that shows Bhagavan, if anybody is doing an offer to Bhagavan, Bhagavan does not expect. But if you are able to show that kind of a love, Bhagavan will bestow with people, bestow those kinds of bhaktas with so much of blessings. So that's what Bhagavan says. What I want is that kind of emotional connect. Once you have the emotional connect, all these things, I want to have 100 kilograms of ghee for a yajna and then have so much different types of prasadas. No. Patram putpam param toyam. I think when a real devotee who is able to understand that he is one with the God, he can, he is doing all these things only for the antakarana shukti, not for any kind of karma phala or not for any kind of yoga kshema. He just wants to know Bhagavan, he wants to get into Bhagavan, he wants to be more and more closer to Bhagavan. And this is what they take it as a simple love and affection. And that's what Bhagavan says in this shloka. This is just what I want. I want only your bhakti. It is the attitude of what you give and not what you give. It is just an attitude. That's what Bhagavan says in this.
K. Lalita Bhagini.
Yes, sir.
Yat karoshi yadashnasi.
Yat karoshi yadashnasi. Yat karoshi yadashnasi.
Hello? Yat
Yes, sir.
karoshi yadashnasi.
Yat karoshi yadashnasi. Yat karoshi yadashnasi. I've already told, sir. Some audio problem.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Mahodaya. She recited, Mahodaya.
I have already recited, but I think.
Okay. You just the entire line, full line, you can chant again. Yat karoshi yadashnasi.
Yat karoshi yadashnasi. Yat juhoshi dadasi yat. Yat karoshi yadashnasi. Yat juhoshi dadasi yat.
Good. Next.
Kashmira Bhagini.
Yat tapasyasi kaunteya.
Kashmira Bhagini. Okay. Sheila Shinde Bhagini.
यत्तपस्यसि कौन्तेय यत्तपस्यसि कौन्तेय
तत्कुरुष्व मदर्पणम्.
तत्कुरुष्व मदर्पणम् तत्कुरुष्व मदर्पणम्
यत्तपस्यसि कौन्तेय तत्कुरुष्व मदर्पणम्.
यत्तपस्यसि कौन्तेय तत्कुरुष्व मदर्पणम् यत्तपस्यसि कौन्तेय तत्कुरुष्व मदर्पणम्.
Good. Next.
Rajalakshmi Bhagini.
यत्करोषि यदश्नासि यज्जुहोषि ददासि यत्.
यत्करोषि यदश्नासि यज्जुहोषि ददासि यत् यत्करोषि यदश्नासि यज्जुहोषि ददासि यत्.
Shanti Badri
Next.
Bhagini.
यत्तपस्यसि कौन्तेय तत्कुरुष्व मदर्पणम्.
यत्तपस्यसि कौन्तेय तत्कुरुष्व मदर्पणम् यत्तपस्यसि कौन्तेय तत्कुरुष्व मदर्पणम्.
Good. Next.
Vijayalakshmi R Bhagini.
First line 2 times.
Yat karoshi yadashnasi. Yat juhoshi dadasi yat. Yat karoshi yadashnasi. Yat juhoshi dadasi yat.
Good. Next.
Veena Fanishti Bhagini.
Second line 2 times.
Veena Fanishti Bhagini.
यत्तपस्यासि कौन्तेय तत्कुरुष्व मदर्पणम् यत्तपस्यासि कौन्तेय तत्कुरुष्व मदर्पणम्.
It's pasyasi, not yat tapasyasi, it's not there. It is just yat tapasyasi, not tapasyasi.
यत्तपस्यसि कौन्तेय तत्कुरुष्व मदर्पणम्
Yeah, fully to complete the sloka. Yeah.
यत्तपस्यसि कौन्तेय तत्कुरुष्व मदर्पणम्.
Next.
Krishna Pavani Bhagini.
Full sloka once.
यत्करोषि यदश्नासि यज्जुहोषि ददासि यत् यत्तपस्यसि कौन्तेय कुरुष्व मदर्पणम्.
Good. Next.
Gurumurthy Mahodaya.
Yes.
Full shloka.
Yat karoshi yadashnasi yat juhoshi tadasi yat pasyasi kaunteya tat madarpanam.
Okay, good. Next.
Bhanureka Bhagini.
यत्करोषि यदश्नासि यज्जुहोषि तदासि यत् यत्तपस्यसि कौन्तेय तत्कुरुष्व मदर्पणम्.
Good. Next.
Rajeshwari Shivshankar Bhagini.
यत् करोषि यदश्नासि यज्जुहोषि तदासि यत् यत्तपस्यसि कौन्तेय तत्कुरुष्व मदर्पणम्.
Good. Next.
Lakshmi Devi Bhagini.
यत्करोषि यदश्नासि यज्जुहोषि ददासि यत् यत्तपस्यसि कौन्तेय तत्कुरुष्व मदर्पणम्.
Good. Next. One more person.
Usha Srinivasan Bhagini.
Yes, sir. यत्करोषि यदश्नासि यज्जुहोषि ददासि यत् यत्तपस्यसि कौन्तेय तत्कुरुष्व मदर्पणम्.
Good. So this also will have some amount of connectivity to Karma Yoga that we studied in the third chapter. Okay, we'll discuss the meaning of this word. Yat Karoshi. So he's addressing it directly to Arjuna. Karoshi, Ashnasi, Juhoshi, Dadasi means he's straight away addressing it the second person, that is Arjuna. Okay. Yat Karoshi, whatever you do. Okay, whatever karmas you do. Yad Ashnasi, whatever you eat, whatever you consume. Yad Jugoshi, whatever you offer into the yajnas. Yat Dadasi, Yat. Okay, whatever you are offering to other people as charity. Dada, not only for charity, even within your own family, etc. Yat Tapasyasi, whatever austerities and rituals you undertake, tapas you undertake. Kaunteya. So these are the various kinds of karmas a person can do. He can do some karma, or he may be eating something, or he may be doing some yajna where he is offering something to yajna, jugoshi, or they may be offering some kinds of charity to some place, and or they may be having some austerities like, they're chanting something, is not tapas, vak tapas, chanting, or they have a kind of ekadashi upavasa, etc. So whatever you are doing, he says that Tat Purushva, you do that. What is that you do that? Mother Arpanam, you offer it to me. Whatever you do, but you offer that to me. That's what he says. He has also told in the case of Karma Yoga that you do whatever is, you are supposed to do what the situation warrants you to do. Okay, you cannot run away from the responsibilities that you have. You do that, but you have to ensure that you are not going to have the end in mind. You are not going to do any activity which is driven by raga, vesha. You are not going to do any activity based on yoga and kshema. Whereas you are supposed to do that action, you do that. You do that with an attitude of karma yoga. When you do it with a karma yoga attitude, what happens is that you are giving it, you are doing it as though it's ordained by the Ishvara. Ishvara is the karma bala tata. He is karma bala tata. He is going to provide you with the karma bala, this thing. And you, whatever comes out of that, you take it as a prasada. That is the attitude. That means that when you do anything, you are giving it, offering it to Bhagavan. Then what happens? It becomes divine. It becomes the karma yoga. So yat karoshi madarpanam, tat purusha madarpanam. Whatever you do, you offer that to me and do it. That means whenever you do certain kinds of things which are required by you to do in a situation, you are doing the job of God. You are doing the duty for God. You are helping God in terms of managing the creation. You are supposing you are doing a kind of work in terms of growing trees. You are helping God in terms of the creation to be sustained. So yat karoshi. So primarily we are talking about those kinds of karmas which are done with a karma yogi attitude. Nishkama karmas, that's what is the thing. There can also be kamya karma that is being done primarily expecting a result which is going to be beneficial to the individual based on raga dveshas. But those kinds of karmas are going to bind people, whereas a person who is doing a karma based on with the attitude of karma yoga is going to free him. So Bhagavan says that you please do that with an attitude of offering it to me. Madarpanam yat karoshi. Similarly, whatever you eat, you offer it to me. Yad ashnasi madarpanam. You do that. That I think if you look at all the Hindu families, we do that. We do a Pariseshanam, we do that. Or we do a Naivedyam. What do we do in Naivedyam? Pranaya swaha, apanaya swaha, vyanaya swaha. We offer it. And even when we start having that initial food, you do the Pariseshanam. And then you take it as prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana. All these 5 pranas, that life-giving forces within the individuals, we are first offering it to them. And then Brahmane Swaha, we are also offering it to the Brahman, the Atma within yourself. That is the kind of offering, Madarpanam. So these are all the kinds of things. So whatever you offer to the altar of God, that is Pranaya Swaha, same thing we do when we are offering to us also, which shows that the divinity is not only in the altar. When they do the Naivedyam for a Bhagavan in any temple or even in your house, but the divinity is also within you, then you are offering it Pranaya Swaha, Apanaya Swaha. Yen Juhoshi, whenever you are doing any kind of offering in a yajna, it is all primarily for me. If you are having that attitude, what happens is that Antakarana Chutti will continue to happen. Antakarana Chutti is the one that is going to help in terms of understanding the real knowledge of Bhagavan, or the knowledge of Bhagavan, whatever you got is going to get further reinforced with this attitude. Yat Juhoshi Dadasi Yate. Whenever you are giving it to somebody, you are giving it with the thing that I am offering because that has got to be offered. It is required, so I am offering it. So that is the attitude. I am giving it on a charity, not for putting my name. I am giving it on a charity because this is going to help somebody. People, we're talking about that in terms of Shraddhatre Vibhava Yoga. We were talking about it in the 17th chapter, where anybody, when they make a dana and then make a publicity of that, the dana, the entire pala is gone. You are not supposed to do dana with the intention of getting a name and putting your name, Ubayam, so and so. All those things should be avoided. So, whatever you do, you think that, like Karna is the greatest example in terms of dana. Whatever is being asked to him, he gives. And they say that whatever he gives through his right hand, even his left hand is not aware. That is the way dana has got to be. And yet tapasyasi, whatever tapas you do, all these things, please offer it to me and then do it. And ultimately, this is going to ensure that you are not driven by your raga dveshas. Ultimately, when you start looking at all the people, we find that our actions are driven by raga and dvesha. We have desires, yoga and kshema. That is what drives most of the actions that we do. But here he says that do not do anything driven by raga dveshas. And when you are not doing it through raga dveshas, then have an attitude of offering it everything to me. Once you have that kind of an offering, you start merging with me. Or at the same time, if you are in the process of understanding the spiritual thing, then you are going to be having antakarana chutti by those kinds of attitude. So this talks about the attitude one should have in terms of doing. So if you look at the shloka that we are studying in the last 2-3 shlokas, it doesn't mean that one has to be sitting in front of the God and then 10-15 minutes you are going to have devotion. No. All through the day, whatever you do, when you eat also, you are able to connect with Bhagavan. When you are doing some work, you are able to connect with Bhagavan. When you are going to meditation, you are going to get connected with Bhagavan. So that means that you are able to have an understanding of Bhagavan within you and you are able to connect with him always. That is what is true bhakti. And with that bhakti, you can even just offer a patram, palam, pushpam, toyam. All these things Bhagavan says he is accepting with so much of happiness, like the way he was able to accept the poha given by Sudama. Okay, next.
Anupama Bhattagini.
Shubha Shubha Palairevam.
Shubha Shubha Palairevam. Shubha Shubha Palairevam.
Mokshase Karma Bandhanaihi.
मोक्ष्यसे कर्मबन्धनैः मोक्ष्यसे कर्मबन्धनैः
शुभाशुभफलैरेवं मोक्ष्यसे कर्मबन्धनैः
शुभाशुभफलैरेवं मोक्ष्यसे कर्मबन्धनैः शुभाशुभफलैरेवं मोक्ष्यसे कर्मबन्धनैः
Good. Next.
श्रीलक्ष्मी भगिनी
संन्यासयोगयुक्तात्मा
सन्न्यासयोगयुक्तात्मा सन्न्यासयोगयुक्तात्मा
विमुक्तो मामुपैष्यसि
विमुक्तो मामुपैष्यसि विमुक्तो मामुपैष्यसि
संन्यासयोगयुक्तात्मा विमुक्तो मामुपैष्यसि
सन्न्यासयोगयुक्तात्मा विमुक्तो वामुपैष्यसि सन्न्यासयोगयुक्तात्मा विमुक्तो मामुपैष्यसि
Good. Next.
शांति बद्री भगिनी
शुभाशुभफलैरेवं मोक्ष्यसे कर्मबन्धनैः
शुभाशुभफलैरेवं मोक्ष्यसे कर्मबन्धनैः शुभाशुभफलैरेवं मोक्ष्यसे कर्मबन्धनैः
Good.
शरद चवन महोदय
संन्यासयोगयुक्तात्मा विमुक्तो मामुपैष्यसि
संन्यासयोगयुक्तात्मा विमुक्तो मामुपैष्यसि संन्यासयोगयुक्तात्मा विमुक्तो मामुपैष्यसि
Good. Next.
वीणा फानिश्री भगिनी
First line 2 times.
शुभाशुभफलैरेवं मोक्ष्यसे कर्मबन्धनैः शुभाशुभफलैरेवं मोक्ष्यसे कर्मबन्धनैः
Good. Next.
शीला शिंदे भगिनी
Yes, sir. संन्यासयोगयुक्तात्मा विमुक्तो मामुपैष्यसि संन्यासयोगयुक्तात्मा विमुक्तो मामुपैष्यसि
Next.
कृष्ण पावनी भगिनी
Full shloka.
शुभाशुभफलैरेवं मोक्ष्यसे कर्मबन्धनैः सन्न्यासयोगयुक्तात्मा विमुक्तो मामुपैष्यसि
Good. Next.
भानुरेखा भगिनी
शुभाशुभफलैरेवं मोक्ष्यसे कर्मबन्धनैः सन्न्यासयोगयुक्तात्मा विमुक्तो मामुपैष्यसि
Good. Next.
के ललिता भगिनी
शुभाशुभफलैरेवं मोक्ष्यसे कर्मबन्धनैः सन्न्यासयोगयुक्तात्मा विमुक्तो मामुपैष्यसि
Good. Next.
लक्ष्मी देवी भगिनी
शुभाशुभफलैरेवं मोक्ष्यसे कर्मबन्धनैः सन्न्यासयोगयुक्तात्मा विमुक्तो मामुपैष्यसि
Good. Next.
कृष्ण पावनी भगिनी
शुभाशुभफलैरेवं मोक्ष्यसे कर्मबन्धनैः सन्न्यासयोगयुक्तात्मा विमुक्तो मामुपैष्यसि.
Good. Next.
Rajalakshmi Bhagini.
शुभाशुभफलैरेवं मोक्ष्यसे कर्मबन्धनैः सन्न्यासयोगयुक्तात्मा विमुक्तो मामुपैष्यसि.
One more person.
Rajeshwari Shivashankar Bhagini.
शुभाशुभफलैरेवं मोक्ष्यसे कर्मबन्धनैः सन्न्यासयोगयुक्तात्मा विमुक्तो मामुपैष्यसि.
Okay, good. So we got a meaning of this. So we talked about the earlier shloka. We talked about yat karoshi yadashnasi yajjuhoshi tadasi. That talked about the attitude. Okay, attitude by which we are going to be managing our entire life. Entire life, whenever we are away, wakeful situations, whenever we are engaged with the world, this is the attitude that one should have. Then Madarpanam, Arpanam to the Bhagavan, and you do it. In fact, in the Shloka number 424, I think 4th chapter 24, we have done a similar kind of Shloka. Brahmarpanam Brahma Havihi Brahmatno Brahmanahutam Brahmaivatena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhinaha. There we talked again about Brahmarpanam. No, where everything is Brahma, that's what we discussed about. Okay, so now when you look at this Shloka, Shubha, Shubha, when you are able to be having this karma, where is this shloka? When you have the karma yoga attitude in doing all these kinds of things, then what happens? The karma pala does not impact you. The karma palas can be a mixed bag. It can be giving you sukha or it can be a dukkha also. But when you do anything with the karma pala attitude, without putting the result in front of, before doing the action, then you are doing it for the purpose of doing action and accepting the results as a prasada of God. The karma palas does not have any impact of you. Whether your karma pala is going to be a good one in line with your expectation or not in line with the expectation. You don't have any expectation. So karma pala can be conducive or not conducive. You are not going to be impacted by the karma pala. So when you look at it from the karma pala can be shubha. It can be the very good for you. Or ashubha, shubha, ashubha pala. It can be anything, but you are already beyond that. Moksha say you are beyond that because your attitude has been yat karoshi, yadashnasi, yajjuhoshi, tadasiyate, vadarpanam purushva. So we have done it. With that, you are not going to be impacted by the karma pala, shubha, shubha palai. Whether you get shubha or karma ashubha, you are liberated out of that. You are not going to be impacted out of that. And then you are also not going to be bound by the karma. Karma bandhanaihi moksyase. You are also not going to be bound by karma bandha. What happens to karma bandha? When you are having a karma bandha, you are bound by the karmas. Then what happens? Karma bandha will lead to papa punya. Papa punya will lead to janma. So karma will lead to janma. And janma will again lead to karma, and karma will lead to janma, and janma will lead to karma. It goes on and on. That is the cycle that will continue. But now, when this kind of attitude comes in, you are going to be liberated. Moksha se karma bandhanaihi. You are able to get yourself liberated from the bondage of karma. Sannyasa yoga yuktatma. Those people, sannyasis. Sannyasis have already given up everything and their only pursuit is in terms of Bhagavan. Or yoga yuktatma, the person who are doing karma, anything with the karma yoga attitude, a karma yogi. So whether it's a sannyasi or a karma yogi, vimukta, they get liberated. When they get liberated, what happens to them? Mamu paishyasi, they will be able to reach me. They will be able to reach me means it is not that Bhagavan is sitting in Vaikuntham and these people after the body falls, they are going to go there. No. They will be able to have immediate realization of their own inner divinity and they will be able to immediately connect to the Bhagavan within themselves itself. It is not that they are going to travel some kind of thing with some kind of a body and some kind of flames and some kind of nothing. they will be able to recognize the Ishvara. They will be able to recognize the Ishvara in them. They will be able to recognize the Bhagavan in them. That is what Bhagavan says. Shubha Ashubha Palaihi Evam Palaihi Shubha Ashubha Palaihi Evam Mokshase Karma Bandhanehi Sanyasa Yuktatma Vimuktaha Mam Upayishyasi. So that's what Bhagavan says. So at the end of the day, what he says is that if you look at the earlier chapter that we did, no, that is Akshara Brahma Yoga, I think we did that, no? In that also there are a lot of yajnas were told. In this also a lot, where even going to Surga Lokam, this Loka, that Loka, all those things were discussed. But Bhagavan says that you will be able to realize me right here. There's no need for you to think that I am different. I am right here. Only thing you have to have the right understanding. For that understanding, he is giving the knowledge about God. He is giving what is God, the perception that we had about God, vis-a-vis the perception that Bhagavan is creating in us. Through these shlokas in Jnana Vijnana Yoga, Akshara Brahma Yoga, and this Radha Vijaya Yoga, yes, that you have to understand that this is what is the understanding of God. Once you are able to have a knowledge of God and understanding of God, then once you have a very good Antakarna Chutti, you will be able to really get into God or merge into God. That is what is the thing. So he was explaining bhakti. So bhakti is, we have to understand, bhakti is not the devotee and deity relationship. No. If you feel that there is I go to ISKCON temple and then worship there, then Bhagavan Jagannath is there, Subhadra is there, Krishna is there, I am here. Then it is not bhakti. It is a kind of, I am meeting somebody with the intention that I want you to help me, sir. So I'm going to do so kind of action. So I want you to be a kind of person who should be able to facilitate me in terms of getting this particular job done very well. So you are making Bhagavan accomplice. Devotee means you are accomplice, whereas devotion means you are going to merge with Bhagavan. So that is what Bhagavan is talking about. Devotee means there's a relationship. You are there, I am here. You and I will have business partnership. That is devotion. Going to the temple, praying, Bhagavan, I am doing this particular parchana, you do this for me. Bhagavan, Yoga Kshemam, you do it to me. I want this, I want this. That is one thing. Other one is that, Bhagavan, I am just giving you out of love. I want to know you further. That is Patram Patmam Palam Toyam. He is not expecting all those fancy things. So he is giving a very detailed understanding about the knowledge of God. And once a person is able to understand, know the knowledge, have the understanding of the knowledge of God through a very clear mind, Antakarna Chutti, he will be able to merge himself into the God itself. And the attitude of interacting with the world of things is that whatever I am doing, right from whenever I am awake, Yat Karoshi, Yadashnasi, everything Madarpanam. That attitude, once it comes, then you are no different than God and you are trying to always be with God. So we'll close with this shloka. Yanti deva vrata devan pitrunyanti pitruvrataha bhutani yanti bhutetyaha yanti matyaji nopi mam patram pushpam palantoyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhakyupahrutam ashnami prayatatmanah yatkaroshe yadashnasi yajjuhoshi dadasi yattapasyati kaunteya tatkurushvamadarpanam shubha shubhapalairevam mokshase karma bandhanaihi Sanyasa yoga yuktatma vimukto mamupaishyasi. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.